Well, Nick here at the Real Guy Garage. Welcome back. Today we have a willing victim, my 2001 Dodge Ram 1500 4x4. It is a 360 Magnum truck with a 46 RE transmission and a 241 transfer case. Before anybody says, oh, they never put 241s in those trucks, you're right, I did. Took it out of a gas 3/4 ton when this transfer case was locked up. It's got a Dana 44 front axle, 9 1/4 corporate rear end with what Dodge called track lock, which is a Spicer limited slip. Anyway, so safety first. If you're ever going to work in either asphalt, gravel, dirt, grass, anything like that, you're going to want something flat for your jack stand to sit on so that it's going to distribute the pressure from the corners of the jack stand. Otherwise it's going to sink into your driveway or in the grass, in the dirt, whatever. But today we're going to do a wheel bearing on this truck because my passenger side bearing, which on these trucks it's a hub and bearing unit, is hard to see, but it is very loose. Unfortunately, that's one of the only things about this truck I really hate, is that more often than not, about every probably 70,000 kilometers, I end up having to put a hub and bearing unit on the front of the truck. Okay, with your tire off, the next couple things you're going to do here. So you're going to remove your axle nut. I already pulled the cotter pin out. If I remember right, it's an 1 11/16 socket. I have a 3/4 drive one I usually use. And then doesn't really matter the order you do it, whether you pull it off first and then take the caliper off. But you're going to want to take the caliper and anchor off out of your way, which you're going to remove these two here. I apologize, the sun's kind of... Anyway, so you got an anchor bolt here and an anchor bolt at the bottom. You're probably going to want to push the caliper back just a hair. So I'll grab the tools for that and we'll get that. Okay, hold the brakes. Okay. Yep. Alright. With that removed and the 2 bolts out of the caliper, go ahead and slide it off. Alright. Be careful with it. I should have probably pushed them back a little bit, but that's another day story altogether. You're going to want to support it so that all the weight is not on your hydraulic hose. A lot of guys don't do that. And it's fine and well until one time it's not fine and well. And all of a sudden you're scrambling to find a hydraulic hose to put your vehicle back together with. Pull our rotor off. Which actually is not in bad shape considering how much I tow with this truck. Pull that washer out. Make sure. Yep, that's going to come off. Okay. Now on the back side, there's 3 9/16 12-point bolts that have to come out of it, and that's what actually retains the caliper to the hub, or not the caliper, the hub and bearing unit to the spindle. Oh yeah. Okay, I tightened those on a little better than I thought I did. You don't have to have an impact socket for this, but it certainly helps. It's still freaking tight. So that's what you're going to see. There's 3 of these. There's one basically right about here, one about here, and then one right up in the middle. Alright, with those 3 out of there, you should be able to just tap it and it'll come off. There we go. Let's see, it's full of rust, but you can see how much play there is in there, and you can hear it. And now, another way to check and see if a bearing's bad. Now, not only does this one make noise, but if you hold it in your hand, you spin it, and it feels rough, that's a bad bearing. And you'll notice that the ABS sensor is just cut off on this one. That's because the wheel bearings are exactly the same for this truck, whether it has 4-wheel ABS or 2-wheel ABS. The only difference is the sensor. And to buy the hub and bearing without the sensor wire on it is actually $30 more than the one without. Or the one with it, I should say. So, for the sake of it, I just go ahead and I buy the one with it, because it doesn't seem to really matter at the end of the day anyway. Alright. So in this space here, I'm going to take and blow all that out of there. I got anti-seize because before I put a wheel bearing in, I make sure that all the surfaces it sits on are anti-seized, so that when I have to take it out again, it will come out. Alright, so I took just the wire wheel on the drill and cleaned everything out in here, because that's where a lot of guys go wrong putting on bearings. Because the mating surface and everything on it has to be clean so it sits properly where it should be, so it doesn't throw any alignment off. And then I just put a little thin coil. You don't have to go crazy with it. You're just hoping to prevent a bit of corrosion. That's really all you're doing. That's plenty. And then I grab my new bearing. This time I actually did buy the one that doesn't have the ABS sensor. So that's a new bearing. It'll be nice and tight for now until it turns about a dozen times. There we go. And what I found is, and that's been my experience, I don't know, experiences do differ, but with my truck it doesn't matter which level of quality of bearing I put on it. Yeah, I get the same mileage out of them, so I don't go nuts and spend $350 on a wheel bearing that's going to last the same 70,000 kilometers that the $115 bearing lasts. Put all that loose back on there for now. So we'll tighten up and torque that after we get these other bolts back in. As the wind blows away half my stuff. before the wind blows it away any further. And I'll just grab this so you can get a better look where those bolts are. So, there's one. There's the other at the top. And there's the one at the bottom. So go ahead and we'll get those tightened up. What I'll do is I'll put all the torque specs in the description of the video. That way you'll know what they are. So with that, we're pretty well done. Throw the tire back on, and I'm going to leave it up on the stand because I'm going to change the oil in it too today, but it's our bearing. Not too hard at all. And just like that, everything is nice and tight again. So after I do the oil change, I'll go ahead and I'll drop the truck down, I'll torque that wheel up, but that's it, pretty well finished.